man, so check out this clip from my live stream recently, and also if you want to check out my full, unfiltered, uncensored live stream replays, become a member of the channel and also support the channel by showing love by being a member as well, man. Things escalated quickly for Chris Brown, and people are laughing at him, dog. They're happy that he got arrested because it all started with him supporting Tory Lanez. Now, a couple days ago, we can get to this in a second, but a couple days ago, Tory Lanez was stabbed, and then, you know, the other day we went over the press conference. We went over that press conference with Tory Lanez, where I'm not gonna play the full press conference. I'm gonna pull up my real quick to update, keep you guys updated with what happened in that press conference. But they basically said that Megan Thee Stallion possibly had something to do with him being stabbed. That was what they're talking about. And also that Kelsey admitted that she's the one who pulled the trigger to her driver at the time of the trial. So I'm going to walk y'all through the story and how we led to Chris Brown being laughed at for being arrested.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun.
After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom.
All right, man. So let's talk. Let me talk to you. Now, you hear what they're alluding to. They're basically on a conspiracy that Megan Thee Stallion had to have something to do with him getting stabbed, because right after they was about to drop some information that could throw off her claim, or what got Tory caught up in the situation. You know, she had to go ahead and get him stabbed up. That's what they're saying, that she had something to do with it. Her team had to do with it. That's what they're trying to say without saying. They want people like me to go ahead and say that's what happened. All right. Now, this dude, I'm not so familiar with him, but he is a YouTuber that covers a lot of things that's going on. I believe was affiliated in Mexican cartels or something like that. I don't know for sure, but he is a gang member, I believe. And he also, I think say he served 10 years in California jails. I'm not sure. If you guys are familiar with this YouTuber, let me know. But he's saying that this is the reason that Tory Lanez was stabbed. Let me know what y'all think, if y'all believe this. But he's saying this is the reason that Tory Lanez was stabbed.
Hey, once again, I gotta hit you guys with some crazy information. So I did a little digging, and this is about Tory Lanez. This is the person that stabbed him in Tehachapi State Prison, and I'll tell you guys why. Now, the video I did before was just saying that there was a false narrative going on about a Mexican trying to extort him or make him pay taxes, and everybody ran with that theory. I said no, it was personal. Now, if a Mexican was to do it, it was, you know, yada yada yada. But the reason this took place is this dude was a nice guy, respectful inmate, got into a lot of trouble though. He stabbed a couple inmates in prison. He's doing life without the possibility of parole for 2.
Nice guy, my ass. The fuck you talking about? Nice guy, got into a little trouble though. Stabbed a couple of inmates. What the fuck you talking about?
For inmate, got into a lot of trouble though. He stabbed a couple inmates in prison. He's doing life without the possibility of parole for 2 murders. And he was in education. He was working in the educational department, respectful, but he happened to be Tory Lanez's neighbor. And at visit, he was flirtatious with his wife. And his wife immediately told her husband. They went back, got confrontational, and Tory Lanez was on the tier saying that he was gonna F his wife because she likes black dudes. That's what really happened. And I had to go do some digging. I had to go. People kept asking me to go look it up, and I made contact with Tehachapi State Prison to finally get the story down, because a lot of people kept saying it was black on black, and he tried to get a black DP'd and all that, and he was paying other people for protection to have other people hid and trying to be the shot caller on the yard. Then I heard Mexicans did it, and I was like, all right, now let me just get to the bottom of it, since everybody's throwing like 202 stories about it. But that is the information. That is what happened. He was being disrespectful towards his neighbor's wife at visit.
All right, now that's what dude's saying. Take it with a grain of salt, but that's what he's saying. I ain't got a story. I ain't gonna lie to you. That sound more realistic than the Megan Thee Stallion getting this Mexican dude to just randomly stab this nigga up. That sound much more realistic. But both could be lies, and either or could be the truth. I don't know. I ain't got no dog in this fight. I'm just sharing this information with y'all. All right. Now, when it comes down to it, dog, like let me go ahead and check. Let me go to Tory Lanez's page, but I know they still running this campaign for them to get the signature. Okay. All right, so let's see where it's at right now. So he has 120,000 signatures signed to urge Governor Newsom to correct a deep injustice. They want to get him pardoned. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. Tory has to advocate for himself, but he's not going to. He's not going to. In his mind, for whatever reason, he thinks snitching is a bad thing. He still want to be on that same. And I keep saying over and over again, every single time I cover it, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing, because my opinion's not gonna change. He needs to pull a gunner or whomever. People don't care about snitches anymore. I'm sure a lot of your fans will support you if you decide to take the stand. They're gonna support you, because if you're trying to do whatever to save your career, it's already harm. It's already fractured in the first place. If you truly didn't do this, say what happened. Say what happened. So all this other things, trying to rely on hearsay or whatever, because that's what the defense, that's what the prosecution or the state is going to say, that it's hearsay with regards to that driver, because Kelsey not going to come up there and admit to that damn conversation. Bruh, it's just going to be something else to continue to prolong the case, when you yourself can come out and say what exactly happened. So listen, unless this man want to go ahead and speak for himself, bro, I don't know what we're going to do over here to support Tory that's going to actually lead to some change in the situation. Now, to show y'all what recently happened, which is kind of interesting, not recent, but on these lyrics over here, he let it be known like how you feel about this shit. All right, so he had a song with DDG, and I can't play the song, but I'm going to go ahead and read the lyrics to the song. All right, so it says, stick to my cell and I think about the rumors and the shit that they selling. The money in my pocket is heavy, I can't even count it. I just gotta get it, go scale it, and let's talk about the rumors. They sent me to prison and gave me a 10-piece because I wasn't telling. But I made an oath to the city to never go snitching, even if it killed me or make me a felon. Alright, bro. Alright. He's not telling. He's not telling. Bruh. I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's the last resort. If you want to hold it down for 10 years, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We got to get out of that mentality, though. That's a lot of folks' mentality, but we got to get out of that mentality. All right, now, this dude put this up right here. Let me see what the fuck this is. I think it's going a little viral. What the fuck? What is this?
Tory Lanez case is being revisited. Evidence came out showing that there was a 0.01% chance of the gun being in Tory Lanez's possession at any time in the car. It was actually shown that the passenger seat most likely had the gun, and in the passenger seat was somebody named Kelsey, who was Megan's best friend. Well, Kelsey's bodyguard recently came out and said that yes, she had the gun and not Tory. She said Kelsey fired it 3 times, dropped it, and then the gun fired by itself twice. This happened after Tory got impaled in prison. The bodyguard said it's weighing too heavy on his conscience to not come up and speak out about this. Tory Lanez was impaled 14 times and has multiple hits put on him since this happened. Furthermore, unknown DNA was found on the weapon. However, they never tested Kelsey for her DNA, at least to anyone's knowledge. So many people are saying, why wouldn't Tory just come out and say that? He's a rapper who doesn't believe in snitching. And he actually shouldn't have gotten more than 1 to 3 years in prison, even if he was taking the fall. However, he got 10 because they gave him an enhancement weapon charge, which they only use for severely dangerous criminals. Now with the hits also being put on him, Kelsey's bodyguard, Megan's best friend, came out and said, I can't hold this in anymore. Kelsey also received immunity from the prosecution and pleaded the fifth and didn't have to answer Tory Lanez's question. We will see how things play out from here. Tory.
All right, now, where we at with it? Alex Spiro. Alex Spiro, that's Megan Thee Stallion's lawyer. You know, he works for Roc Nation, says Tory Lanez was tried and convicted by a jury of his peers, and his case was properly adjudicated through the court system. This is not a political matter. This is a case of a violent assault that was resolved in the court of law. All right. Now, one of the people that supported Tory Lanez after this news came out was Chris Brown. He put out a free Tory tweet, but then shortly after that, the next day, he was arrested because reportedly arrested in Manchester hotel in connection with a 2023 nightclub incident. Now, that set social media off, especially people that were on Megan Thee Stallion's side. People that was on Tory's side, they like, oh, Roc Nation. They had to go ahead and, you know, try to prove a point with them for woody. Now, let me get to some of the responses. Chris Brown posted free Tory yesterday and got arrested today. They laughing at the man. Chris Brown wrote same thing, laughing at the man. So they approved Chris Brown's visa just to snatch him up as soon as he landed. Blaming Roc Nation when Chris Brown has been putting his hands on people since the Bush administration. Tory stabbed Chris Brown in jail. Drake botched body, and now Justin broke. Don't play in Megan's face. Chris Brown got arrested this week. Just keeps getting better.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
All right, Chris Brown posting free Tory, and now he over there locked up in the UK. All right, so I am not too familiar with this story as far as what happened in the UK. I know my boy Chiggs covered this situation. Shout out to my dog Chiggs Move. I know y'all always show love to this page, man. I'm happy for my dog over there. Now let's see Chiggs coverage on this, see this, so I can see what happened in London.
YouTube, Chiggs. Get ready. You know what to do, Chiggs.
Salute to Chiggs Smooth. Hey, Chiggs Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your for a while. I just subscribed to your too, bro.
Oh, nah, not my guy, Briz Breezy. Not Mr. These Hoes and Loyal. Just hours after Chris Brown said free Tory Lanez, he gets locked up, you guys. This is a nasty, nasty game. Now, I'm not sure who's behind this arrest. We're not going to speculate. We're not going to put out any narratives out there.
My God Almighty, I call heaven and earth to be a record today. That Roc Nation, you will crumble.
But Chris Brown was arrested early this morning in Manchester. This all stems from a 2023 nightclub assault in London. Now, Chris, come on, dog. You've been in the game for how many years now? Somebody from your team should have told you, hey, dog, we could go to Europe, but let's just skip over London.
I don't get that part. Like, why the hell did he go back there when you got, you got this on your head? Why did he do that?
I told you, hey, dog, we could go to Europe, but let's just skip over London. You still got some shit over there that you never took care of. This was clearly an oversight by somebody in Chris Brown's team. Now, back in 2023, Chris Brown beat the living out of a producer called Abe Diao. According to the producer in the lawsuit, Chris Brown inflicted severe and lasting injuries on him after beating him over the head with a bottle of Don Julio 1942 tequila. But it doesn't stop there. Not only did Chris Brown beat Buddy with a bottle of 1942, but Chris Brown decided, nah, that's not enough. He ruthlessly stomped on him before kicking him in the back of the neck, which he said left him unconscious for 30 seconds. He was eventually sent to the hospital with lacerations on his head and torn ligaments in his leg. Bro was trying to do the music producer like Tory got done in prison. As of right now, Chris Brown is still in custody and being held on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm to music producer Abe Dial. Now, if you're Chris Brown, the best scenario for you is to hope you get hit with a petty fine, take care of the lawsuit, whatever amount you gotta pay, and get up out of London. Chris Brown has a huge tour coming up next month, starting June 8th. And funny enough, he's got a couple dates in London and Manchester as well. The tour is called Breezy Bowl and it's with Jhené Aiko, Summer Walker, and Bryson Tiller. And this is a huge tour that spans from June all the way to October.
Seemed like a fun ass tour, right? For R&B lovers, R&B and soul lovers.
Last thing you want to have happen is to cancel this tour. There's a lot of moving parts that's already been in place. There's money invested. And I'm sure Chris is going to make a nice little bag from this tour. For the most...
Bro, what's so crazy to me as I see this shit is like, no matter how much people talk about Chris Brown or talk about how they feel about domestic violence, you know, people, you know, accuse people who did that. I don't know why the word isn't coming to my mind. He's still headlining this tour with some heavyweights. Summer Walker, Jhené Aiko. He's still headlining this damn tour.
This is going to make a nice little bag.
So that shows you it's all about if the person likes you or not, if they're going to look over some situations.
From this tour. For the most part, over the last couple of years, Chris Brown has been staying out of trouble. He's been staying out the way. If you guys look closely, he really doesn't mess with too many artists. But unfortunately for Chris, regarding this incident in London, he has nobody to blame but himself. There should never be a situation where you're putting hands, feet, and bottles on anybody. Let's amend prayers out to Chris. I hope this situation does not turn into something crazy, and hopefully he does not have to cancel or reschedule the tour. You guys get in the comments below. What do you guys make of Chris Brown being arrested in London? Post your comments below.
I don't know nothing about the London judicial system. Let me show a little my boy. Yeah. I don't know nothing about that judicial system, but good luck to that nigga right there, man. That's crazy as hell. Alright, so that's what's going on in that situation with Chris Brown, how he got himself caught up into this media storm by showing love to Tory. You know, he probably would have still been arrested if he went to London, but that made the story more sweeter for Megan Thee Stallion fans. Huh? That's how the stand shit work, boy. The stand shit, hey, they don't hold no punches.